Yeah, so normally I wouldn't burn this because I wouldn't be multitasking so much, although actually that's not true. So this is the result when you burn it. I mean, didn't you always want to know that also? Life happens. Bottom looks pretty good. Abstract pizza. A little basil and you'll never know. Did you know you could make sourdough pizza crust with just one ingredient? And the crust takes a whopping 1 minute to make and only about 10 to 15 minutes to crisp up. You could go from dreaming about pizza to having it in your mouth in less time than it takes to get a pizza delivered. You might have already heard about this because apparently it's all over the internet, but I've been making my pizza like this for a long time, so I'm gonna show you exactly how to make it. And don't worry, if you want a traditional pizza crust, I'll show you how to make that too. First thing you need to do, get your cast iron skillet or pizza steel, pizza stone, whatever you use, in the oven and get it piping hot. Bring it out, douse it with some oil. Then you're gonna pour a thin layer of sourdough discard on your piping hot pan. You could also use active sourdough if you want, doesn't really matter. Smooth it all around. Less is more with this. So if you have too thick of a layer and you don't want your crust to be kind of soggy, just add the extra into another cast iron skillet. And you can make this pizza any size you want. Very easy way to use up sourdough discard. I'm doing a terrible job because I'm talking to you guys, but I have faith in you. You can make yours look prettier. Now I'm gonna bake this so it really crisps up for about 10 to 15 minutes. And here's how I whip up an easy pizza sauce, just so you know. Voila, you have a pizza crust. I like to go ahead and get my pizza crust unstuck. Sometimes it gets a tad bit stuck, but you can usually get it out pretty easily. If you want, you can take this out and now put it in a baking sheet, top it with your toppings, or you can just leave it here. I like a saucy pizza, but with a crust this thin, it's a bad idea. Now, broil for 2 minutes and this is done. Okay, so if you're filming a video for people and you're not actually paying attention to how long your pizza is broiling, it burns. Which is what just happened to me. But the beauty is it's really just the edges and you can just break those off and we'll add some fresh basil and we'll have a delicious pizza anyway. The char gives it character, right? You know, my brother taught me this trick in general with pizza, and that is never use a pizza cutter, just use scissors. It works so much better. Been doing it ever since. Now you know. This is the way I most often make my pizza, just because I can make a nice large amount, and with a little bit of help, it usually pops off just fine. Look, I ran out of cheese, so hopefully somebody's lactose intolerant. Broil on high for like 2 minutes. Keep a close eye on these. Okay, traditional crust. Very easy. First, I mix my dough. I use a scale, but you don't have to. And I'll have this recipe linked for you below. Filtered water, active sourdough starter, salt, mix, flour. This could be all-purpose or whole wheat or whatever you want. I'm using all-purpose. Olive oil. Mix and don't leave any dry bits. Feel free to adjust your flour or water if this is a little too sticky or a little too dry, depending on the hydration of your starter. And cover for 30 minutes to an hour. Now I stretch and fold 3 times, about 30 minutes apart. Wet your hands. Once my dough has doubled in size-ish, and this might vary depending on the temperature of your kitchen, could take 5 hours, could take 9 hours, I shape it into my pizza. And the way you do this can be whatever is comfortable for you. You could try to stretch it out or you could roll it out. And again, don't worry so much if the dough hasn't risen massively because you're making pizza, you're not making bread. However, you do want it to ferment because you want the health benefits of sourdough, at least I do. So that's the main thing to remember. I also want to mention, if it's nighttime, your dough's risen and you actually don't want to make pizza then, just put it in the fridge. That'll slow down the fermentation and you can make your pizza in the morning. And I do this the same way, where I preheat my cast iron skillet or my pizza steel, and then I put my pizza on it. If you have a pizza peel, you can use that. Make sure to wet your hands before you do this. And then you can just manipulate the dough however you want once you've got it down. and add your toppings, plus cheese, which I'll figure that out. I found some Parmesan cheese. Did you know Parmesan is full of protein and very little lactose? Bake for about 15 minutes. You can also make this crust and partially cook it and then freeze it for use at a later time. Turned out, despite the imperfections, sorry, I'm starving. This turned out perfectly. Easy, quicker than delivery, way healthier, and believe it or not, it tastes better than anything I could go out and buy. Let me know the ways you customize this for your kitchen, and remember to eat real food. I'll see you next time.